The Trump must feud, it's really just stolen the thunder from news that China and the US have agreed to resume trade talks. It was a long-awaited phone call between Trump and Xi Jinping. But here's President Trump speaking about this at the White House.
I think we have everything. I think we're in very good shape with China and the trade deal. We have a deal with China, as you know, but we were straightening out some of the points. By the way, he invited me to China, and I invited him here. We've both accepted. So I'll be going there with the First Lady at a certain point.
Let's bring in our Chief North Asia correspondent, Stephen Engle. And Steve, I mean, this is the China show, and even this is getting a bit overplayed this morning. But this phone call, I mean, we were talking yesterday or early this week that there was this impasse. It does seem to at least have been broken a little bit now.
At least it's not necessarily being hashed out in social media like the Elon Musk and Donald Trump fiasco or theatrics is, obviously. It's why I don't do social media. Maybe I'm of a different generation. But, but Trump has used social media to kind of try and manipulate the narrative with Xi Jinping. It was, all caps and at 2 a.m. a couple of days ago where he said Xi Jinping was extremely hard to make a deal with. I thought that pretty much kiboshed some sort of phone call for this week because it's basically putting a phone call on Trump's terms for Xi to call Donald Trump. Well, anyway, the call did happen, 90 minutes or so, and there's not a lot of details in the readout that we've gotten from both sides. The Chinese side was a little bit more pointed, and the Trump was pretty optimistic. He did say that trade negotiations with China had gotten a little off track, and now they are in a very good shape. Of course, a few weeks ago is when we had this Geneva truce, and then it kind of unraveled because there wasn't a lot of dialogue between the two, and there are accusations being flung on both sides of the Pacific about violations of the intent of that truce that was signed or agreed to in Geneva. But things are looking better right now. Additional negotiations are going to be in the works, according to Xi and Trump. We don't know when and we don't know where those are going to be. You mentioned the Harvard issue earlier today. It's something I haven't talked about because of all the other news. But again, the Chinese side has said that the two gentlemen did agree that Chinese students will still be allowed to come and get visas and come to U.S. universities. Donald Trump, when later told reporters, Chinese students, and I'm quoting him, Chinese students are coming. No problem, no problem. It's our honor to have them. So that was one of the sticking points that the Chinese mentioned as well. They want Trump to remove the quote-unquote negative measures the U.S. imposed on China. That's namely the tariffs. But we have not gotten the details. Did Trump agree to back off on the tariffs? We don't know. So this is going to be an unfolding rapprochement, if you will, if you want to even call it that. It's basically just lowering the temperature. They're talking. We'll see where we go from here. But they've both agreed and accepted invitations to go to each other's countries. We don't know when that's going to happen, though.